It's always fun. During Lent, I try to preach from someone from the sidelines. So today, the person from the sidelines is a woman who heard Paul preach or heard his letter from Romans. I don't understand this preacher, Paul. He seems so full of himself, so sure of himself. He's a Jew preaching equality with the Greeks. I wonder if it's only Jewish Greeks or all Greeks. And why would the Greeks need another God? And why would the Greeks need another God? Because we have plenty in our Parthenon to worship and honor. Saved is a word that he uses often. Saved from what and for what? He seems quite delusional in his thinking that we all end up in the same place with his God. Well, what sense does that make? Our gods live in the Parthenon and in Athens and Mount Olympus, and they move from heaven and earth just like that. Some gods are good, some are tricky, and some require more attention than others, and some I would rather not meet. What can Paul mean by saved? Well, if I understand even a little slice of his teaching, it means we're all going to heaven if we say the right words and believe rightly in our hearts that some Jewish man died and then started breathing again after being in a tomb for several days. And this Jewish preacher had been beaten and crucified by the Romans. I'm not ready to face those Romans, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for a new religion. But this Paul speaks with such assurance and such determination, you'd think he had actually seen this person, this Yeshua as he calls him, after his death. This Paul speaks of ascending and descending into the clouds or the depths of the earth. I wonder what he means. Is that where he finds his God? Is Yeshua the God he speaks of, or a human being raised to the status of a God? Paul tries to explain that those who believe that this Yeshua was dead and is now alive will never be put to shame. But as I understand it, this Yeshua was put to much shame by being hung on a tree and tossed into a tomb. Is that what Paul expects of all of us and those who accept this new teaching? The gods and goddesses we follow, pay attention to, are part of our everyday lives, like Demeter, who oversees the grain fields, and Aphrodite, the goddess of love. And I pray to Athena often for wisdom. Hades takes care of the underworld, and I don't know of any real person who ever escaped from the clutches of that place. It just doesn't seem possible that Yeshua did. The thing that intrigues me about this Paul is what he says about head and heart. This word, this person in this teaching involves what I say and what I do and what I believe. You know, that's a lot more work than just lighting a candle for Artemis. It makes me wonder, how much do I pay attention to what I do every day? Well, I try to live in a kindly manner, and I treat those above me with respect, and those below my station I ignore. Paul says that's not enough. Paul says all are equal before this Jewish God who is above all gods. I am equal to those above my station, as well as all the beggars and kitchen maids and slaves. What a strange idea. I will listen to him again. I'm not sure about his ideas, but he seems very determined to teach anyone who will listen, and he doesn't charge a fee. He's very open about going into any house to tell people about following his God, this Yeshua, the man who became a God or was God and became a man who was crucified by calling himself a God and then showed himself to people as God. It's very confusing. But this Paul is very determined that we listen to his words, that we listen to his words and believe in a Jewish God who treats all people equally, who is not overcome by death at the hands of the Romans, but now lives in the hearts and the souls of all who believe his name, and all will be present in heavenly glory together. Perhaps, maybe I just need to be saved from my own thinking. Maybe I will listen again. Maybe this teaching will begin to make some sense. Paul really is determined and convincing. I will invite him to my home and to to explain what being saved really means.